Hello everybody, welcome, welcome. I am Leah Wilson-Felis, and this will be a beginner yoga class today, so just follow along as you like, and if anything doesn't feel right in your body today, then make sure to listen to that. And so I've been working through the 8 limbs of yoga, and I missed a week with a snowstorm here in Colorado, so I'm going to kind of recap the 5 yamas that we've gone through. And so that is the first limb of the 8 limbs of yoga. So out of the 8 limbs, we've gone through the first one, which is called the yamas, and there's 5 yamas. And so the first one is ahimsa, and that means non-harming. So you don't want to hurt yourself, during yoga especially, but in life, and you don't want to hurt others. So it's about being kind. It's about non-violence. And then number 2 is Satya, and that is, of course, I'm here at Yoga Studio Satya, and it's all about truthfulness or non-lying. So it's about being true to you. And so that's why we say here at this studio so often, be you, be true to you. Number 3 is asteya, and that means non-stealing. And so you don't want to steal the practice from yourself. Try all the options and see what works best for you. Brahmacharya is the right use of energy. And so it literally translates to act like God. And number 5 is aparigraha. And aparigraha means non-greed or non-attachment. And so that's what I'm going to really focus the practice on today, is non-attachment. And so, aparigraha, I'm going to offer you a mudra. It's called the Pushpanjali Mudra. Really simple. All you do is bring your hands together like a little cup, like a little bowl that's almost like spilling out of your mat. That's it. And it means the gesture of offering flowers. So you're like offering a bowl of flowers to everyone else. So I might love those flowers and have an attachment to them, but letting them go and allowing others to have joy from that is what really this is all about. So on the mat, how do we practice aparigraha, non-attachment? It might be not pushing yourself, being here and not pushing for something more than what you are right now, not grasping for stronger, better, or more flexible, and also, of course, not comparing ourselves to others, because they're on their own yoga journey here. So just being in your body, and let's start to just sit in our practice for about 5 breaths, to just sit here and let go of any thoughts, let go of any feelings that are not serving you. That's aparigraha, non-attachment, let go. So how I think of the breath is I breathe in really deep, and I'm breathing in fresh, clean oxygen, new nutrients, new energy. And as I exhale, anything that is not serving me leaves the body. Breathing in fresh, clean energy and breathing out anything that you don't need. When we hold on to things, even a thought, a bad thought, when we hold on to that, it causes suffering for us. So allow yourself to be free by just letting go of anything that doesn't serve you, anything that might be holding you back from your truest nature, your most divine self. And so let's work with this little Pushpanjali Mudra with our hands cupped. And we're going to inhale and scoop the hands out and up overhead, just like water or flowers are pouring out over you. And then exhale, rotate your hands down to the ground. And let's do it again. Scoop up the flowers. Inhale. And as you exhale, float your hands down. So we have to rotate those hands back down. Let's do it again. A couple more times. Inhaling. Exhaling, palms float back down. Just a little bit of range of motion in our arms, getting our breath moving with the movement of our body. It's called vinyasa. 1 breath, 1 movement. Awesome. Let's go backwards too. So let's sweep our arms back like big wings up overhead, and then we'll sweep our hands down towards our lap. And then flip the palms open. Nice. And lift them up. Inhale. Exhale like you're pressing that air down to the ground, and then we'll open our hands. Last time, inhaling, big wide arms. And exhale. Hello, Karen, I see that you joined us. All right, so let's float our hands down right here off the side of our yoga mat. So if you're sitting vertical on the mat, that's okay. You can sit however you like. Just hands grounded here. As promised, I'm going to start with a little bit of neck work. So let's just start by leaning the head from side to side. For me, I feel this all the way down my arms, even into my elbows a little bit when I do this stretch. I must be really tight today. So I'm feeling it all the way from ear to shoulder and down into the shoulder, down past into the elbow. So we're just checking it out, getting our neck moving today. How's it feeling? Any cracking and popping in there? Now, this time let's lean our head to the left and connect those right fingertips down to the ground and really feel that whole right side of the neck stretching. Now, my favorite thing is to look up and look down while my head is leaned to the left. That way I'm getting a really nice stretch through all that right side of the neck. Things are kind of crunchy in there today. Now my hand's starting to tingle a little bit, so we better move to the other side. Chin to chest, and let's just roll our head, over to the right, and then the left side of the neck is going to feel the stretch. So really ground those left fingers down. Head is leaning to the right. I feel a big stretch already, but if you don't, you might just kind of carve out that neck and see what you can find in there. Drawing chin to chest, lifting the nose, lifting the chin, back and forth. Awesome work. Now whenever that starts to kind of subside or work itself out, or if your hand starts to go a little tingly, then you might bring your head back to center. Let's bring our chin straight down towards our chest. Sweep the hands out, up overhead, and interlace your fingers behind the back of your head. Elbows are wide here, so squeeze them back together. And then we're going to just round over, elbows try to touch. And with an inhale, open those wings up wide, press your head back into your hands, sitting up tall, and almost lift through your heart. Let's do it again. Big exhale, rounding over, elbows almost touch. With your next inhale, opposite position, opening the chest. Last time, let's do it one more time. Inhale, open those elbows, press the head back, flare the ribs a little, and let's lean side to side. You should feel a little armpit there, little rib as you lean from side to side. So we don't want our butt bone to lift, we want to keep our sits bones grounded and just kind of arc from side to side, arcing through the ribs. Let's make that a little bit bigger, so open your arms up. If your legs are getting tired, please extend your legs out so it can look like this instead. So however you like your legs, our hands are going to ground down. Slide that right hand over. Now get the neck involved, right ear, right shoulder. Left hand reaches up, and maybe it reaches over. Relax that right shoulder, relax the right elbow. So see how my shoulder went from by my ear to away from my ear? Looks good. Nice job. And with an inhale, let's bring it back up. Other side. So the left hand's going to slide out here. Right hand reaches up. Head leans to the left. You can continue over if you want. And then relax that left side. Left elbow. Nice job. Big breath. If it's hard to breathe, you might be too far in your pose. So you still want to be able to take breath, even though you're in a big posture. Inhale, swing it back up. We're going to add some twists here. Left hand, right knee. Right hand reaches back behind us. Now add the neck by looking over your right shoulder. With an inhale, sit up tall. With an exhale, press onto that knee with your left hand and add a twist. Let's do that 2 more times with your own breath. 1 more. We'll unwind leaving the left hand on the right knee, and the right hand is going to cross over. So we're going to move into the shoulders here. So we should feel this kind of on top of the shoulders when we get in the pose. So we'll lift our arms up. Some of us, this will be the end of our pose. Left elbow bends, and it just holds the right elbow in there. And that works. If you want to go to the next step, you can bend that right elbow. Some people can get the backs of their hands together. Some people can even wind them around. So that's the big wind around is the full pose. And then you can kind of sweep the elbows up and towards your chest. Those are called eagle arms. Do you feel that on the top of your right shoulder at all? That's where I feel it, is like kind of right up here. So we don't want it to hurt, we want it to feel good, but it's still a stretch. So I definitely feel that. It's not necessarily comfortable. And then we'll unwind, let the arms go, bring them back behind you, open your chest, maybe even let your head go back. If your legs are getting tired, extend them out, give them a break. Nice job, everybody. We better do the other side too. So if you want to go back to cross-legged seated, you can. If your legs feel better stretched out long, feel free to take a break there and have your legs long. So next up, let's go to the left. We're going to sweep that left hand out there. Right hand reaches up and over. Bending through that left elbow. Let your head lean to the left. Nice. Just taking a big stretch on that right side. I feel it all the way from my elbow into my side, almost my hip. And then we'll inhale to sweep ourselves back up. Cross the right hand to the left knee, and the left hand will come behind you. At the neck, look over your left shoulder. Inhale, sit up really tall. And with an exhale, add a twist by pressing on the outside of your left thigh with your right hand. And do that 2 more times, just taking a couple breaths and twisting. Nice job. All right, so that right hand is going to stay there as we come back to center. Left hand reaches up, and we'll start to lean over to the right. So you should feel this all the way kind of down your left side. If you want to, your arm can continue over. To feel more, try to open up your chest. That's too much for me. So you got to find that right spot for you to feel a good stretch there. Inhale, bring yourself back to center. Cross the left arm over top. We're going into those eagle arms again. So we'll lift the arms up. Right elbow bends first. Karate chop it in there. Then the left elbow can bend. That might be where you stop. If you have long arms, you might be able to get the wrist together or get the full twist around. Now wherever you are, even if your arms are separated like that, we want to bring our elbows down and lift them up, so that you're feeling a stretch on the top of your left shoulder, but you might feel it on both. If you find a sweet spot where you really feel it, you can hang out there. Now let's unwind those arms when you're ready. Sweep them back behind you. Open your chest up, looking up at the sky. Maybe rocking your head left and right while your head is leaning back. My neck's super crunchy in there. We'll start to slide ourselves back up. Let's lengthen our legs out. So if you're already here with legs long, you're 1 step ahead. We'll shake them out a little bit, do some window wipers. And let's just add our forward fold stretch. So you can reach for your shins or ankles or toes, or you can sweep up first and then fold over top your legs to your feet or your ankles. Again, we want it to feel good. We don't want it to be too uncomfortable, but maybe a little uncomfortable. And we'll just start to soothe that discomfort with our breath. So taking a couple of those deep breaths, and with every exhale, almost imagining that breath moving that sensation away from you, that sensation that is not serving you. Letting go of tension in the body, almost surrendering into your posture. Not holding on to that tension. Now let's start to roll back up to center. And we'll do one side, then the other, and then we'll move on to our kneeling posture. So we'll keep our right leg straight and our left knee can bend. Now if your knee bothers you there, you can always support it with a block, or a rolled up blanket. And so let's take a big inhale, sweep up for the sky, rotate to the right foot and start to reach for your right ankle, foot, shin, knee, wherever you are. Relax those shoulders down. Let your head just bow down, maybe chin to chest, maybe it's like your forehead is trying to reach towards your leg. Now remember, we don't want it to hurt. Let's take 2 more breaths and try to let go. Let go of some of that tension in the back of that right leg, in your low back. Now if you need to move through those postures and do more of a dynamic stretch, moving in your stretch, feel free to do that. Do what feels good for your body. Great job. Inhale and slide yourself back up. We're going to work the inner thigh. It's really important to work all aspects of the thigh so that our pelvis and hips can open up. So let's take this right foot and just slide it off the mat. The left foot stays at the same place though, so it's at the midline. And so I already feel a stretch. And so if you want to feel more stretch, you can fold over, leaning your belly button towards your left foot. Very simple, we don't have to do a whole lot, just kind of leaning into the pose. If the mind becomes agitated, it's best to add movement, maybe rocking your entire upper body from left to right. So finding comfort in discomfort. Not holding on to the fact that we carry tension in this body, and sometimes it's a little uncomfortable. Let's bring ourselves back up to center. All we're going to do is bend this right knee and bring our foot in to meet the left. I don't want to go too far into that stretch because we've only worked one leg. So let's go ahead and do the other leg. Slide your left leg forward, toes and knees point up. So we don't want our leg to get lazy. We want to keep our leg nice and active. You can slide to your left foot, or you can sweep your hands up all the way, inhaling and then folding over top your left foot, left leg. Anywhere that you grab is good. Bow your head down. Now remember, this side is totally different than the right side. So for me, this side's a lot tighter. Couple breaths, soothing that tension, remembering to try to let go of tension everywhere in your body, your jaw, your shoulders, your back. Just feeling it behind the knee. Last breath here, letting go and sliding up to center. We'll work the inner thigh. We just take our foot out off the edge of the mat. Just a couple inches is fine, so don't worry about how far that leg goes out. We do want to keep our right foot right at the midline. And then we'll just lean our belly button towards our right foot, and you should really start to feel that inner thigh stretching. Again, this side's a lot tighter for me. I never expected, but it is. Last breath or two here. Let it start to subside. Awesome work. Press into the floor, roll yourself up. We'll bend our left knee, bringing that foot to center for Badakanasana, grabbing onto your toes, your ankles, maybe pressing gently on your knees. I like to grab onto my toes and then bend my elbows. And my elbows press into my calf tissue. So this little bit of tissue in my lower leg, and helps those knees to press open a bit further. So you can kind of get a little double doozy going with a stretch leaning into the fulcrum and also a little extra assist pressing those knees open. But remember, we don't want it to hurt, so don't feel pain. Make sure you can take a breath or two, a deep breath. Make room for your breath. And let's start to roll ourselves back up to center and pull those knees with you as you come back up, making almost like a little egg shape. I like to cross my ankles in that position and give myself a little hug, and it kind of releases all of that tension that we just created in the inner thighs and all those pelvic attachments. All right, let's come on up. We're going to switch to our kneeling position. So come on to hands and knees. I always like to have my blanket handy for my knobby knees. So the tabletop position. You want to feel like that tabletop. You can have your hands wide or in fists. I prefer a wide hand with my middle finger pointed up towards the top of the mat. I want my wrists stacked underneath each shoulder and my knees stacked underneath the hip so that it's 90-degree angles. 90 degrees right here, 90 degrees in my knee, 90 degrees in my shoulder. And then we add a cow position. So we allow the belly to drop through the tailbone to lift. We press into the mat and look up. Inhale. And as you exhale, round over. Look back at your thighs, your knees. Inhaling, open your chest, straight arms as you press into the mat. Round the back, cat position, looking back at the thighs. Squeeze the glutes a little. Let's do it one more time on your own. Coming back to center, we're going to extend our tabletop. So right now we're in tabletop. It's almost, Thanksgiving. We have to pull out the leaf for our table. So we pull the table apart and put the centerpiece in. So we're going to kind of imitate that here. So we're going to extend that tabletop. So let's extend our right leg back. You can keep your toes dropped if you want to, but eventually we want to try to work our leg up so that it's nice and straight outward. And then we're going to do the same with the left arm. So maybe your fingertips just extend to the top of the mat, or maybe you can start to lift your hand. So it takes some time, it takes a lot of core strength, so don't worry, don't compare yourself to me, we're just working towards a goal. Go ahead and drop it down and let's try the other side. So that means left foot extends back. You can keep it low, you can lift your heel, it's up to you. The right hand might extend to the top of the mat, or you might try to lift your hand. So eventually, it might go from this, dropped down and grounded, to just lifted an inch or two, to fully extended. And we'll drop it down. Let's try the other side again. Left arm, right leg. Nice work. Looking good. 2 more breaths. I like to stare at one of these little spots on my yoga mat. I have like a little spot missing in the squares, so that's where I look. And then we'll drop it down. And it'll be right arm, left leg this time. Gaining the core strength here. Holding, but not holding the breath. Last time. We'll exhale, drop the hand down. Last time 3 times, so we're going to extend that right leg, left arm. 2 more breaths. Last one, inhale, and as you exhale, drop it down. Right arm, left leg. I like to flex and point my toe in the back here, just to start to bring awareness to my foot and calf. Last breath. Drop it down. Nice work. Let's separate our knees, round our back, walk the hands forward, and either come into your extended puppy pose, dropping just your forehead and chest down, or you can come into a child's pose with your hips landing on your heels. Which one works the best for you? Try both, try the options, and then make a choice. That is the practice of asteya, non-stealing, trying the options, not stealing any of the options, any of the practice from yourself. Now with an inhale, let's roll ourselves back up to our tabletop pose. Walk those knees a bit closer together, and we're going to start to roll up onto the knees into a forward kneeling position. So that's where we'll meet, in this kneeling position, taking all the weight off of our hands and maybe rolling the hands out. I like to even add a little interlace, so I interlace my fingers and I add some figure 8s. Alright, so for our kneeling practice today, Let's shake out our hands once you're done with your figure eights. And we're going to step our right foot forward. So if you've got good balance here, if not, you can ground a hand down or use a block. We're going to step our right foot forward. There we go. We'll start low with our hands on the knee. You always want to make sure that you can see your right big toe on the inside of your knee. If you can't, then what is happening is your knee is dropping in, and that's no longer in alignment with our hip. We really need to stay in alignment to make sure our hips stay strong. So from here, hands on the knee, and we're going to slide that knee forward, and you might start to feel your left thigh stretching. That's good. Let's take it another step higher. This would be the beginner posture, so stay here if you'd like. Bring yourself back, hands to the heart center, gaze straight ahead, and again we'll lunge through. I might take a little peek down just to make sure I can see my right big toe. My knee isn't internally rotating. And finally, some of you can really press yourself a bit further into that pose. If you're feeling strong today, maybe your hands sweep out or even up overhead, and you can again continue with that lunge. Great. We'll add the twist here, so that means the arms are going to open. That is left arm forward, right arm back. There you go. You got it. And then we're going to just tilt over, so that means left hand comes down to the ground, right hand reaches up to the sky. Beautiful alignment. Looks really good. Let's take one last breath here. Exhale and let it go. Folding, rounding forward over top that right foot. Now let's take our right hand back to the inside and we'll swing that right leg around. It's really pretty. And we're going to do it on the other side. So let's roll up to our kneeling position. And we're going to step forward with our left foot. Hands come on to that knee. Let's make sure we can always see the left big toe on the inside. So we'll take 3 lunges. Inhale here. Exhale and lunge through. Inhale, pick it back up. Maybe your hands come to your heart, maybe they stay where they are. And we'll exhale and lunge through. Looks very good. Last time, pressing back up. Maybe your hands come out or even up overhead. Maybe they stay where they are. And lunge through. Take one more extra breath, stretching into that right hip flexor. We'll back up through the lunge and add the twist. Arms come out. That means right arm forward, left arm back this time. And then we'll fold over. That means right hand comes to the floor in line with the left foot. Left hand reaches up to the ceiling. Another big breath in the position. Twisted crescent lunge. We'll drop that left hand down, bring it to the inside of the left leg, and we'll swing that left leg around. Now we're going to roll through a couple times. So we're here in tabletop. So let's roll over top our knees. The legs almost lengthen. I put a lot of pressure on the wrists and look forward. This is called upward dog. It's not a beginner position, but we can make it feel like one. So from here, let's take our hips back and come into a stretched out cat pose, extended cat. You just want to round your back and press back through your tailbone. Let's try it again. Roll through. I even bend my elbows when I roll through. Then I lengthen the elbows, lock the arms, and drop my hips through. So get to your best rendition of this. And around the back, coming back into cat pose. Beautiful. Now let's come on back just to tabletop. And we're going to move up into some of our standing positions. Downward facing dog. Tuck your toes and roll up into that downward dog. Nice. When you're in downward dog, you do want to look back at your toes or your ankle creases and start to pedal them down. Press the right heel down as you bend your left knee, and then press your left heel down as you bend your right knee. So you should be stretching your calves. The wrists get really strong by holding ourselves up here. Look from your toes towards your hands. And we'll start to walk forward. Maybe you walk your hands back towards your feet. Maybe it's a combination. We end up in a forward fold. Your knees can be soft here. I like to separate my feet to about hip distance apart, which is 2 fists side by side in between the big toes. Soften those knees, let your head go, let your arms go. Yeah. Allow your lower back to round over top the hips. Allow your gaze to look straight back. So if your eyes are open, you'll be looking between the legs behind you. And from here, let's slowly roll up. Move slow, mostly so you don't get dizzy. Take your time, hang out as long as you'd like. So if you're loving the hang out longer. I like to sweep my arms out like a bird, slowly rolling. And I sweep my arms up overhead, gaze up, hands come together, and we'll bring our hands to heart center. Make any adjustments. Typically I'll march in place once or twice. Inhale, press your palms together, open your shoulders wide so it's like your heart is exploding through your chest. And we'll exhale, hands to the sides of our body. Inhale, opening up and lifting up to the sky. And exhaling, forward fold. Soften through your knees, reach down for your block or for your toes. Inhale and lift halfway, flatten your back. And exhale to that forward fold. Soften your knees. If you've got a block handy, that's great. If your hands reach the floor, good job. Keep those knees soft. Let's straighten our right leg. Just the right leg. The left knee stays bent. And then we'll exhale and bend both knees. Try it on the other side. So just the left leg lengthens. The right leg stays bent. If you need to separate your feet wider, it makes it more simple. And then bend both. Straighten just your right leg. Keep your left knee bent. And then bend both. And we'll try one more time, lengthening our left leg only, keeping the right knee bent. And then softening. Lift up halfway, hands to the shins, lengthen the spine out. Pretend like someone is pulling on your head and someone else is pulling back on your hips. So your spine is being stretched to the front and to the back of the room. One more breath. Exhale, bend through your knees, reverse swan dive. Do it slow, rolling up so that you don't get dizzy. Hands will reach up overhead. Exhale to the heart center. Inhale here. Exhale, letting go. Inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale again, we're pouring out like you're letting go through the top of your head. Inhale, lift yourself halfway, flat back. Someone pulls on your head and your hips. Exhale, forward fold. Great job. So fingertips come down to the ground. So if you can't get there, bend your knees really deeply so that you can get at least your fingertips to the ground. Let's step just our left foot back so our right foot stays forward. So if you're using a blanket, you can step back over the blanket with your left foot. Let's drop our left knee down to the ground, and we're going to lift up to stage 1 of the lunge, hands to the knee. Lunge through. Inhale, bring the hands back to the heart. Exhale and lunge. One more, low lunge. Sweep your hands up if you'd like. Nice job. Now our hands are going to float down all the way to frame our right foot. Keep your left toe tucked under, so retuck it if you need to. Lift your left knee and walk your hands up to the top of your right knee. Did I say left? I'm sorry. Lift your left knee. Your right knee's already lifted. So here's step 1 of a high lunge. So you can lunge a little deeper, hands on the knee. If you're feeling okay and you feel like you have good balance, maybe your hands lift to your heart. Maybe they stay at your knee. Again, we're just holding for another breath. My leg is burning, so if yours is too, that's good. Step 3, high lunge, reaching the hands up only if you feel like your balance can handle that today. Remember at the beginning we added a twist. So, right arm back, left arm forward. Nice job. We're going to just tilt over so that our left hand comes down to the ground and lines up with the right foot. Open your chest, look up at the right thumb. One more breath. We'll drop that right hand down to the ground. Drop the left knee down. Move the hand to the inside and swing that right leg, the other hand, around. We're in tabletop and we'll find a little bit of a child's pose, a little bit of a puppy pose. We can really feel the difference between the right hip and the left hip. Lots of burning on that right side. That is tapas. We're going to learn about that pretty soon when we learn about the niyamas. But for now, we're just learning about the yamas, being kind, having compassion for ourselves, being honest with ourselves, acting right, not grasping, not harming, not attaching. Let's bring ourselves back up to center tabletop. Align your knees, align your legs. We'll roll up into a downward dog. Tuck your toes and roll up into that downward dog from your tabletop. So we lift our hips back. Again, you want to look at your toes when you're doing this. Soft knees if you need. There's nothing wrong with bending your knees. Look from your toes to your hands and try to roll into a plank position. I have to walk my hands forward a little bit to get into the right type of plank. And then from here, you can drop to your knees if you'd like to, and we'll lower onto our belly. Squeeze those elbows back. Look forward. That's called Sphinx. Go a little higher, out of Cobra. Remember at the beginning, a while ago, we did an up dog. So if that feels okay on your wrists and your elbows, you can do that. We'll lower back down. Tuck those toes. Press back up to plank. Lift the hips back, downward dog. Look from your toes to your hands. Step just your right foot forward first, then your left foot, then your right foot, then your left foot, all the way towards the top of your mat. Lift halfway. Inhale. And we'll exhale back to the forward fold. Relax, separate your feet, bend your knees. Just hang out over top the legs here. When you're ready, take a big breath in, sweeping your arms out like a bird and slowly rolling out. No rush, don't want to get dizzy. Sweep the hands all the way up over your head and we'll exhale to the heart. We'll do the other side next. Inhale here. Exhale, hands down to the sides. Inhale again, all the way up over your head. Swan dive to a forward fold and soften your knees on the way. Get your fingertips down to the ground. Let's test out our hamstrings one more time. With an inhale, straighten just your right leg. Left knee stays bent. And then exhale and bend both knees. Inhale, straighten just the left leg. And exhale, bend both. Inhale, just the right leg. Exhale and bend both. Last time, left leg. Awesome work. Lift up to your hands. Hands and shins, hands and knees, hands and ankles, wherever you like there. Pretend like someone's pulling on your head. Someone else is pulling on your hips. A half forward fold. With your last breath in here, almost suck it in, like you're sucking your belly button in towards your spine. And we'll exhale, bending those knees. Fingertips come to the floor or to blocks. Alright, so we're going to keep our left foot right here and send our right foot back towards the back of the mat. Drop your right knee down onto the mat, and if you like, you can untuck your toes. You can keep them tucked also, it's up to you. Hands are going to come up to the top of our left knee. Variation 1, lunging through in a low lunge. Make sure you can see your left big toe. Pull yourself back to neutral. Hands come up to the heart if you want to. They can stay on the knee. And then again, we'll sweep the hands all the way up overhead. And again, lunge through. Nice work. Hands float down all the way, right next to your left foot. Activate your right toes, so tuck those toes under. Lift the right knee up to a high lunge. We'll walk our hands up onto the top of our left knee. This is level 1, high lunge. So you can stay right here, lunge through a little deeper, make sure you can see your left big toe. If you want to go higher, hands can come to the heart. If you still want to go higher, arms can reach out or even up overhead. Looks great. Amazing alignment, looks really good. I can see you in the mirror. One more breath. Let's open our arms up wide here. The right hand will go forward, the left hand will go back. So we're twisting, folding down towards our foot. So the right hand lines up with the left foot. Left hand reaches up and we look at our left thumb. Last breath here. Exhale, float that left hand down. Drop to your right knee. Bring your left hand to the inside and swing your left leg around back to tabletop. Let's go right into our plank position here. So extend your left leg back, tuck your toes. Extend your right foot back, lift the knee, you're in plank. You can drop to both knees here on your way down, bending your elbows, lowering onto your belly. Untuck your toes, drop the tops of your feet onto the mat. Sweep the elbows back, look forward. If you want to go higher, you can. Cobra, or even an up dog. We'll lower back down all the way to our belly. And now we'll take our child's pose, pressing up to tabletop. Separate the knees, round your back, and have a seat, either back in child's pose, or maybe puppy pose serves your body better. Find the rendition, the variation that suits you. Try all the variations that you can and make a choice. Spend about 4 breaths right here, just breathing and feeling into the hips, how they've really been strengthened today and stretched today. Great job, everybody. Let's roll back up to our tabletop. Bring those knees back together. We'll do one more downward facing dog. So tuck the toes in tabletop, press up, lifting your knees into downward facing dog. And look back at your toes when you do that. Back at your ankles and pedal it out a couple times. Your shoulders should be lined up with your ears. Great job. Look from your toes to your hands and start to tippy-toe forward. Maybe your left foot first, then right foot, then left foot, all the way towards the top of your mat. We'll lift halfway, lifting hands to your ankles. Maybe it's your hands to your shins or your knees. Someone pulls on your head and someone else pulls on your hips, lengthening the spine. One more breath. Let it go, bend through your knees, hang out. Let anything not serving you pour out through the top of your head. Nice and slow so that we don't get dizzy. Sweep your arms out like a bird, press through the feet, starting to hinge all the way to standing. Hands touch overhead. And we'll bring them down to the heart. A couple shoulder rolls here. Maybe letting your hands down, just rolling out those shoulders. Mine are a little crunchy, that's for sure. Now let's bring our hands to the sides of our thighs here, so they're right on the sides of the thighs. Nice and like suctioned on there. And we'll lean our head over to the left, and you should feel the right side of your neck once again, hopefully not as tight as it was. And let's roll chin to chest. Right ear, right shoulder, so that now the left side is stretching out there. Hopefully not as tight as it was. Again, chin to chest. Roll to the left. One more time, chin to chest, roll to the right. And we'll bring our head back up to center. If you need more, please feel free to do more on your own, whatever feels good in your neck. We have to learn to honor ourselves. We're going to make our way down to the ground and do a couple laying positions. So if you have some water handy, grab some water. I'm going to take my blanket that I was using for my knees, and I'm now going to use it for my head. So let's lay back onto our yoga mat, on our back, supine position. We're going to finish up here with a couple positions. First off, just to get our spine realigned, is a rolling bridge. So we keep our feet flat, knees bent, and our arms reaching down towards our heels. So if you can, tickle your heels with your fingertips. That's where you want to be. That's the right alignment. Press through your feet, lift your hips, lift your low back. Reach your hands up to the sky, maybe reaching them behind you, up over your head. And then we'll bring everything back to neutral. Arms reach back down towards the heels as you drop your hips back down. Let's try that a couple times. Pressing back up, reaching the arms up overhead. And exhale back to the floor. Last time. Let's bring both the legs up like you're sitting in a chair. So pretend like there's a chair underneath. Your legs are going to come into like a 90-degree angle. Arms might separate further out to the sides. Let both legs drop over to the right. Keep your left shoulder flat. Maybe even try to look over that left shoulder or towards your left hand. As many breaths as you would like. When your mind tells you to, switch sides, bringing yourself back to that chair position. The legs go towards the left as you glance towards the right shoulder blade stays grounded. Nice, again, as many breaths as you would like. Bring yourself to center. If you want to do it again on each side, feel free. There are any other movements that are really grasping for you to do them, then feel free to honor your body. Do the positions that feel best for your practice as we start to slow things down a little bit. Finally, coming back to center, to that chair position where we began. Wrap your arms around the tops of your knees, around your shins perhaps, and begin to just pull them to your chest, flattening your back and massaging your back into the floor, rocking just slightly from right to left. Maybe adding some sacral circles, rolling to the right a couple times. Circles in the lower back on the floor, and then the opposite direction. Awesome work. Bringing the feet down to the floor, just rocking again those knees from side to side like window wipers, so that one knee is externally rotating and one knee is internally rotating. The next time you drop both of your knees over to the right, let them stay. Take your right foot, slip it out, and hook it over top the left top of the knee. So the left knee is now being pulled a little bit, assisted a little bit more into internal rotation towards the right. Looks good. We spend a lot of time in yoga practicing external rotation with our legs moving out. And so it's really good for us to practice that inward rotation too. Go ahead when you want to and unhook your right foot. Bring your foot back down. Let both knees roll over to the left. And if that would feel good on that side, you can slip your left foot out underneath and hook it on top, on the outside of your right knee to help your right knee internally rotate to the left just a little further. It's an assist. And then hook it when you want. Bring yourself back to neutral. And here's your chance to add any positions that you might like, any positions that your body requires here, or maybe just some time for you to lay, to just lay on the ground and feel all of the positions that you've done today. Perhaps a little reflection on the positions that were your favorite, or the ones that were not your favorite. And most likely the ones that were not your favorite are the ones that we should be practicing more. Bring your hands perhaps onto your belly, maybe to the sides of your body. And we'll start to bring our awareness just inward, inside once again. Close your eyes. When we close our eyes, we bring our awareness to all of the sensations that we feel other than our sense of sight. So what do you hear? What do you smell? Taste? Feel? See if you can think of something, a person, an item, a place that you feel attached to. And there's nothing unhealthy with attachment. It's just that if we were to lose that thing that we are attached to, how much suffering would we feel? I've spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia, in Thailand, studying Thai yoga massage, and I'd like to tell a story about attachment, and it's the story of how to catch a monkey. So imagine you have a box, and the box is big enough to fit a coconut in. And so you put a coconut inside of a box. Close all the sides, and cut a small hole in the top of the box that is just big enough for the monkey's hand to fit through, but not big enough for him to fit a coconut through. So, the monkey sees this box and is curious, and looks in the box and sees a treasured coconut, and reaches in for the coconut, but he cannot get the coconut out of the box. So, you've now caught a monkey. If the monkey was not so attached to the coconut, he could be free if he just let go. but instead he grasps. He is attached to the coconut, and now he suffers. How are you like the monkey? What are you attached to? How could you be more free? When we harm ourselves and others, it causes suffering. When we're not truthful and honest with ourselves and with others, it causes suffering. When we steal, it causes suffering. When we don't act right, when we use our energy in the wrong way, it causes suffering. And when we are attached, when we grasp, it causes suffering. These are the yamas. Feel your breath. Feel your breath up against your hands, inhaling, feeling your belly expand. Feel your breath as you exhale and the hands collapse into the abdominal cavity. You're welcome to stay on your back all the rest of the time that you have for your practice today. Feeling the breath. If your body's telling you it's time to shift and move again, maybe rocking the knees a little bit, the toes, maybe just reaching your hands away from your body, stretching your arms out, stretching your legs out as far as you can to stretch the body one more time. Let it go. Maybe, if you'd like, you can roll onto a side. Some people skip rolling to a side and they just roll right up to a seat. So really, again, we have to do what feels good for our body, for our practice, for what's going on inside of us. And so as you roll to a side, maybe as you come back to a seat, take your time, do it slowly. If you're at home, just lay, if that's what serves your body today. Allow yourself to just rest and feel all that the practice has offered today. As we come back to seated, if you choose that route, gratitude for the body, this body, your container for your soul through this life. Gratitude for its ability to be so flexible, be so strong, and to gain those attributes in just an hour. Gratitude for this mind that got you here to the practice today, allowed you to roll this mat out. Dedication, motivation, inspiration, whatever it is that got you here, thank you. Gratitude for you. I am so grateful for each one of you that came today, that rolled out the mat with me today. I bow to you. I bow to the light inside of each one of you. Thank you so much. The light, the love, the truth. Namaste, my friends. Thank you so much for being here. And shukriya. And shukriya means thank you. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Namaste, everybody. And we'll see you next time. Great job. Namaste.